The truth is rather straightforward. Many people adore the notion of freedom but abhor the price it exacts. Entrepreneurship is not an amusement park. It's a roller coaster without a safety harness. Those unwilling to confront risks inevitably retreat to their comfort zones, rationalizing that the time wasn't right. Yet the reality is that the opportune moment never materializes. It is only attained by those possessing consistency, self-assurance, and the fortitude to forge their own path. Entrepreneurship demands emotional fortitude, even when everything seems to be unraveling. It's facile to remain focused when the balance sheet is in the black, but maintaining discipline becomes arduous when the bills are screaming and results are slow to materialize. The genuine architects of significant achievements are those who comprehend that risk is merely the ante for a far grander game. They don't play to subsist, they play to live on their own terms. And that's where the secret they don't tell you resides. There's no security on the path to freedom. There's only decision and consistency. Those who await the right moment lose years watching the brave build what they only dreamed of. Because in the end, fear isn't the enemy, it's the invitation. And the response you give to that invitation defines whether you're ready or merely curious. Countless individuals harbor entrepreneurial aspirations, yet remain paralyzed by the persistent query, what if it fails? Did you know that a significant number of business school graduates gravitate towards consulting, not out of a profound love for the profession, but rather an aversion to making decisions? They find solace in analyzing the game from the periphery. However, inaction inevitably precludes the generation of tangible outcomes. Consequently, indecision, in its most refined manifestation, is merely an artful guise for fear. Entrepreneurship is about making choices when the ground beneath you hasn't yet materialized. It's about betting on the unseen and maintaining emotional equilibrium when everyone insists it's a losing proposition. Disciplined individuals grasp that excessive hesitation means forfeiting optimal timing. The discipline to decide, err, and course correct is what cultivates self-assurance, not the other way around. You don't become confident before acting. You act, and confidence emerges. Life will invariably test your decision-making prowess. It will present you with two paths, the secure one and the one that makes your heart pound. And do you know which is the more perilous? The former, because it slowly extinguishes your dreams. Therefore, yes, deciding is inherently risky, but failing to decide is fatal. And it is at this juncture that the game begins to distinguish between those who merely speak and those who act. True entrepreneurship is born when someone opts for the uncertain over the comfortable. It's the young person who chooses to trade a fixed salary for a dream under construction. They understand that the greatest risk is never taking any risk at all. This mindset isn't about age, it's about attitude. It's about living with discipline, self-reliance, and the drive to create something that does not yet exist. It is this spark that distinguishes those who merely work from those who build. Those who throw themselves into the game early with fewer encumbrances and a greater hunger learn more rapidly, not by chance, but through consistency. Each mistake becomes a stepping stone. Each challenge builds resilience. They don't await stability to commence. They forge their own. They are the kind of individuals who grasp that fear never truly dissipates, so they proceed regardless. It's curious how life rewards those who dare. These are the ones who discover that success doesn't stem from a flawless plan, but from the imperfect courage to act. They don't await the ideal scenario. They adjust their course as they proceed. Because, at its core, entrepreneurship is precisely this: embracing the chaos, taming fear, and keeping one's gaze fixed on the outcomes that only persistence can yield. All great entrepreneurship originates from a turning point. That singular moment when life delivers such a forceful shove that you are left with no alternative but to reinvent yourself. Were you dismissed on your very first day of employment? As harsh as that may seem, it was a disguised blessing. Occasionally, it is the fall that awakens dormant self-confidence and compels you to perceive the path ahead with brutal clarity. These shocks are the spark that ignites discipline and emotional control. When the ground gives way, what remains is your capacity to respond. It is in that instant that true character emerges. And it's ironic. Many only discover their strength when there is no other option. Pain becomes the master, and consistency becomes the shield. Those who learn this are never the same again. The truth is, no one is truly prepared for the great upheaval. Yet it is this very event that reveals those destined to forge their own path. Some lament, while others respond. The latter build empires. It is in that moment, suspended between shock and decision, that the impetus to transform failure into fuel is born. And once you grasp this, fear begins to wane. Those who venture into entrepreneurship solely with the aim of amassing wealth have already begun at a disadvantage. Wealth is a byproduct, not the primary driver. The true fuel originates from passion and the desire to generate value, rather than from the mere accumulation of figures. This is because when one's focus is solely on personal financial gain, any obstacle can appear insurmountable. However, when the focus is on the mission, every setback transforms into a training exercise in consistency, discipline, and emotional regulation. Successful entrepreneurs don't count the hours they work. They count their purposes. They labor as if the clock were merely an accessory, 25 hours a day, 8 days a week. Is that an exaggeration? Undoubtedly. Yet it also holds symbolic truth. Those who aim to make things happen must commit themselves beyond the ordinary. The key lies in the self-assurance to persevere, even when no one else believes in their endeavor. And the curious thing is that money, when it arrives, comes to those who have stopped chasing it. It comes to those who have focused on generating real results, on solving genuine problems. Abundance is a response, not a goal. This is why passionate individuals prevail. They work with heart, not with blind ambition. And it is this energy that the market perceives and rewards. At its core, true entrepreneurship isn't about money. It's about freedom. The freedom to choose, to compete, to operate without anyone's oversight. Those who enter this arena solely for the sake of their bank balance are misguided. Self-confidence, discipline, and emotional control are what empower one to make decisions others wouldn't even dare to conceive. And that freedom, it's utterly intoxicating. Unfettered freedom fosters boundless creativity. Those who grasp this understand that the most significant peril lies in being ensnared by a job that devours aspirations. A true entrepreneur endeavors to command their own time and decisions. Every choice made with fortitude and perseverance amplifies the capacity to sculpt the life you envision, a value immeasurable. This is the very essence of living authentically. And it's fascinating, when you pursue freedom, money becomes a consequence, not an obsession. The market senses when someone acts driven by purpose, not greed. And in that moment, every achievement isn't merely financial success, but a life accomplishment. Because true freedom is what allows you to choose your next step, unfettered, fearless, purely in action. One of the most significant challenges in entrepreneurship is discerning what truly matters from mere noise. You must perceive the signal amidst the incessant clamor of opinions, fads, and distractions. Without this discernment, even the most brilliant idea can be lost. The key lies in consistency, focus, and emotional regulation, even when everyone endeavors to sway you otherwise. Sustaining focus necessitates daily discipline. It is facile to become ensnared by myriad dazzling opportunities, ultimately yielding no tangible outcomes. The quintessential entrepreneur cultivates the ability to prioritize, to allocate time and energy towards endeavors that genuinely create value. Each deliberate choice bolsters self-assurance and propels you closer to the results that truly matter, rather than mere outward appearances of success. And here's the crux of it. The noise will never cease, but your capacity to discern the essential will. It's a perpetual training of attention and patience. When you master this skill, you realize that opportunities emerge where others perceive only chaos. And it's at this juncture that the game transforms. Because those who focus on the signal understand precisely where their next move should lead. In entrepreneurship, identifying a market gap is pure gold. It's not about crafting generic solutions, but about profoundly understanding the needs of a specific niche. It is in this granular detail that self-confidence, discipline, and consistency transform an idea into tangible results. Recognizing these gaps demands vigilance and the courage to act. Many overlook minor market shortcomings out of fear of taking risks. However, the entrepreneur who observes with an eagle's eye can transform an unnoticed detail into a competitive advantage. This is the juncture where emotional control is vital, refraining from succumbing to the fear of failure, while diligently striving to create something unique. And the ultimate lesson here is unequivocal. It's not about inventing something monumental, but rather about solving specific problems with unparalleled efficacy. The market rewards those who deliver genuine, tangible value. And each time you succeed, each accomplishment attained fortifies your confidence, discipline, and hunger for the next challenge. This is how a robust entrepreneurial path is forged, and the next milestone looms ever closer. Ultimately, the greatest test of any entrepreneurial endeavor is acquiring customers. Comprehending how to attract and retain clientele significantly enhances your prospects for success. Possessing an extraordinary idea or a singular product is insufficient. It is the capacity to consistently generate revenue that truly distinguishes one. And this is precisely where discipline, self-assurance, and emotional regulation come into play in the daily execution of business. The acquisition process demands strategy and patience. It's not merely about marketing, but about cultivating credibility and trust. Every step matters. Every interaction, every negotiation, every bespoke solution. Those who master this learn to transmute obstacles into opportunities, fears into learning experiences, and frustrations into motivation. Consistency is what transforms effort into tangible returns. And the most compelling point, acquiring customers isn't merely a quantitative endeavor, but a matter of perceived value. The more you comprehend their needs, the more indispensable your product becomes. And each positive outcome bolsters your confidence and fuels the subsequent action. This is how the cycle culminates. Yet it also heralds the emergence of the next challenge on the horizon. Ultimately, it all boils down to a choice. Continue watching others achieve their dreams, or finally decide to pursue your own. Entrepreneurship isn't a rare talent, it's a daily decision made with discipline, self-assurance, and consistency. You already possess what it takes. What's missing is acting with emotional control and ceasing to bargain with fear. How many times have you postponed a crucial step, biding your time for the perfect moment? What if I told you that the perfect moment is precisely now? That the results you so ardently desire are concealed behind the action you haven't yet mustered the courage to take? Cease waiting for life to propel you. Be the impetus it requires to pivot and change course. The ball is in your court now. Will you continue to dream, or will you start to act? If you're committed to furthering your knowledge of entrepreneurship, discipline, and personal growth, subscribe to the channel and enable notifications. The next piece of content could be precisely what flips the switch in your life.